belief in oneself and knowing who you are. I mean, that's the foundation of everything great. People should learn from my mistakes as well, not only my successes. That's the beauty of living a life. I'm not a perfect guy. You can take whatever out of it that you choose that applies to you. Some things that I've done will not apply to you. And I made, by the grace of God and whatever angels that I had over my shoulders, I made it through. You may not make it through that same hole. But if you could take what I've done and then perfect on it, then that's great. We all aspire, we all have the same emotions. You know, no matter who you are, where you're from, we all have the same emotions. You know, we all want to be successful. We all have the same fears of failure. We all have the feelings of abandonment. We all want love. We have to stretch the audience. You know, it can't be a young man's game. It has to be a genre of music, you know. And what I do while recording is I'll find the truth. Whatever truth that I'm going through, it's a real emotion. If I say, I got to learn to live with regrets. Now, I can relate to that in my life. You can relate to that in your life. Everyone can relate to it. So I find a true emotion and connect to that emotion rather than try to make a certain type of record or make a kiddie record.
You got to understand the reason, right? Why does that guy think like that? Right? How do you arrive at that point? You got to also look at that. You have to look at that. You got to look at the environments and places we live in and how things are set up and how things are structured and how we're always the last on the totem pole, even from our schooling to our roads, you know, everything that all the obstacles that's placed in front of us. If this is what I have to live for, then I'm going to take the chance to get more. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what happens to me.
Never forget those true things that you stick to, the basic things that make you successful. And for me, it's that truth, finding that truth, the truth of the moment of where I am at the time. You know, not trying to cater to a certain demographic. It's not about who got more money and who got more house. You know, you've earned it, buy what you want. But don't forget what's important. Without people, and just being rich is be very boring. No one to share with, no one to have. You know what I mean? Like, just be a rich person, one person on the planet. Just like, well, then what do you do? Things don't happen to you, they happen for you. That's life. Everything is life. It happens for you. Everything is for your greatest good. You can't control the future. I mean, you can control it up to some point. You can't control what others do. You can't control anything. Someone can run a red light and that's the end of everything. You know, you only can control what you can control. Seeing things from other people's perspective and what other people are going through, you know, I've been taught everything but emotional intelligence. You know, that's not what you're taught as a young man growing up in the projects. You're taught to survive. That meant most to me, and always coming up, I always believed in the way you live your life, you affect the outcome of your life, you know, calm and everything. So I just want to be remembered as a very honest and straight up guy. You know, I'm pretty much a mirror. If someone's cool with me, like energies attract, right? You give off energy, you get that energy back. So just a person that was of the utmost integrity, you know, honest, very hardworking, and someone who really cared about the culture. Because at the end of the day, that's what I'm pushing everyone for. I always had that in the back of my mind, and then I got to a point where I was like, man, I don't want to ever just do it to do it. And then it was this opportunity. So those two things combining led to the retirement. And then, of course, the love for it. Like with anything else, the love for making music, you know, and start pulling me back to the studio. And it was like, yeah, for me, I was happy about it. Because I was like, yeah, that's the feeling I want. Go in with making an album. I want to have something to say, feel like I need to do it, as opposed to it's November and, you know, put an album out. That admiration when people look at me and say, first black president, right? Because for me, like I said, when I walk in the room, I represent the culture. I love the culture and I love to honor it in that way. So when people look at me like that, it just gives me more motivation to continue to open doors for that next generation of artists. Like I said, this is the thing that saved my life, hip hop. You know, I don't know where I would be without it. There were no backup plans. So for me, it's very important. And when people recognize that, you know, it just lets me know that I'm doing the right thing.